Mary Lou retired from her role with United Way in January after leading the organization for a decade. As CEO, she oversaw the merger of the former United Way of Greater Milwaukee and the United Way of Waukesha County in 2015. The organization also saw substantial growth during her tenure, culminating in its record $60 million campaign in 2017. Mary Lou also facilitated a $1 million gift from Johnson Controls to launch the Johnson Controls Volunteer Engagement Center in 2018. Prior to her role with United Way, Mary Lou led global community relations for Rockwell Automation, where she managed the company's annual $7 million philanthropic budget. She's gained national recognition as a thought leader and was invited twice to the White House to talk about United Way's success. Mary Lou continues to serve as a consultant on special projects for United Way and has established MLY Consulting LLC to manage other business priorities. She is a longtime member of United Way's Tocqueville Society and founding member of United Way's Women United in Milwaukee. Mary Lou is also a founding member of the United Way-led Teen Pregnancy Prevention Initiative and Collaborative Fund in Milwaukee, which has gained national recognition for its successful efforts to reduce the rate of teen births. For all she has done to improve Milwaukee, Mary Lou Young is the 2019 BizTimes Woman Executive of the Year. Please help me welcome Mary Lou Young.
I am so pleased to be here this morning in a room full of smart women and also a very few smart men. Thank you for participating. Thank you, too, for having me here today and giving me this acknowledgement. To be honest, when Dan Meyer called me and asked me to be the Woman Executive of the Year, I was a little surprised. I thought you actually needed to be a working executive to be acknowledged, but he assured me that my legacy would follow me in perpetuity, for better or for worse. Lesson learned, Amy. Have you met Amy? She's at the back of the room. Amy Linder, would you please stand a minute? Amy is my successor at the United Way, and she is going to take the organizations to new levels. I just can't wait to see the work that you do. And yes, I took time this morning to recognize these powerful women for a reason. Sisters help sisters. When we eventually make dollar for dollar what men in this country make, then we can do otherwise. But right now, support other women. You can silently breathe now and cheer because I am not a long-winded speaker. Public speaking has always been a challenge for me, but like most things, I just keep trying. I was asked to share with you today how relationships make your career and partnership with your employer stronger, and how I navigated two companies' very different mission statements. And for any of you that were recently at the press club, some of my comments may be a little redundant, so I apologize. I retired from United Way in January of this year after serving 10 years at the helm. Prior to that, I worked over 20 years at Rockwell Automation, both in California and Milwaukee. In total, I'm a Social Security poster child. I have worked 46 years full-time without a break in service. I even went to school at night. I did not career path. I'm not even sure I knew what that meant. However, I always said yes and volunteered even before being asked, and I did that wherever I worked. I established a good reputation as someone you could count on. I feel strongly that a career is a contract. You perform well, and your employer settles the deal every 2 weeks. Yes, over time, you do collect a few chits in the bank, but you can never lose your willingness to go above and beyond. And you must always be receptive to change, even if it means leaving Los Angeles to come to Milwaukee to keep your job. Change is inevitable. Embrace it because it will not go away. Being open to change was my path to reinventing myself. You've heard it said it's all about who you know. There's a lot of truth to that statement. But often who you know happens as the result of outperforming and changing with the times. Never forget that being a good ambassador internally and externally will make you recognized and more valuable to your employer. That doesn't mean that you wholeheartedly embrace every directive that comes out of your company. It does mean you learn when to lean in and when not to. It's called being intuitive. It's also called being loyal. Relationships are built on trust and loyalty. Being your company's ambassador is not what you're paid to do, but it is what will keep you on the track for upward mobility. Professional conduct is so definitely underrated. Please remember that. I've often heard colleagues make disparaging remarks about their company, their boss, their coworkers. That will not get you the results that you want in your career. It will label you as someone at risk. Earlier, I said I never had a break in service in 46 years of full-time employment. Much of that was luck and circumstance, but I believe it was also based on my loyal endorsement of my employer, my boss, and my coworkers. It's really not complicated, but I think in today's fast-paced environment, it's easy to react first and apologize later. I would highly encourage you not to play that game, because it will not get you where you want to go. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't make quick judgments without facts. Remember, no one died and left you in charge of deciding what's best. People think differently, thank God, or we would not have the vast diversity of thought that we have in the workplace. Being a true leader is far more about how you treat others than how you think about yourself. People are not projects. It's difficult to bring your A game to work every day. Actually, it's impossible, but try. And when you can't, remember, less is more. You cannot have a negative voice and be a positive leader. The two traits will not coincide together. Even bad news can be delivered with grace. Always try to be positive. Think before you jump in. My former employees, both at Rockwell and the United Way, will attest to my less is more philosophy, because it works. Also find your motivator. It will change over your career. In my early days, it was about tuition reimbursement and upward mobility, opportunities for advancement. Later, it became about security and qualifying for my pension plan. My last 10 years at the United Way was really the only time I felt empowered to embrace just doing good. I often said, I get to come to work every day with some of the most talented people in this community and do God's work. It was my last true blessing at work and my last big motivator. As you approach retirement, you think a lot about legacy. The surprise is as you walk down that historical memory lane, you will find it's not about what you accomplished. That's not really your legacy. Let's remember we are paid to be accomplished, expand on ideas, and execute agendas. Legacy is not how others judge you. It's entirely how you will judge yourself. Accomplishments are fleeting. Good relationships build a life and a career. To make that point, let's review the human perception of greatness, which can dramatically and very quickly change. Look at our modern day fallen heroes, Richard Nixon, Lance Armstrong, Bill Cosby. I had a favorite boss at Rockwell Automation, the former CEO, Don Davis, and he said to me once, Mary Lou, it is a very short fall from the penthouse to the outhouse. Boy, was he right. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I do feel extremely fortunate that the one theme that was used to describe me in my very gracious, numerous retirement parties was she's kind. Yes, that was exactly the legacy I wanted to leave. Remember these important leadership characteristics as you go through your day. Conviction. Lead with actions you believe are true and right, but always be humble enough to be proved wrong. Courage. Have the fortitude to stand for what is good and right and true, even if conventional wisdom advocates that it will be uncomfortable and unpopular. Compassion. Show sympathy and concern for those whose lives may be adversely affected by your decisions. And circumspection. Remember that if something can go wrong, it will. Show others you are willing to steer a wise course and help avoid pitfalls. Be seen as an inclusive problem solver. Following these characteristics will help you build the relationships you need to make your career the best it can be. So go ahead, champion others, speak highly of your employer, and help your community thrive. Be kind. It won't hurt, and it certainly won't hold you back. I would be remiss if I didn't also ask you to volunteer. A beautiful retirement gift I was given by the United Way was the installation of a year-round giving project called Mary Lou's Closet. Please go to the United Way website and find out how you can get involved. You've heard it said many times, you always get back more than you give. There are cards on the coffee table at the back outside this room. Learn more about Mary Lou's Closet and get involved. Again, thank you for coming this morning, for honoring me. And lastly, always, always remember to live united. Thank you.